Hello everyone, my name is Davide, and in today's video I'm going to show you how we can create and customize stack column charts in Power BI. So let's take a look at the dataset that we have. It's a simple sample of 48 records where we have expenses for each month of the year for 2023 for 4 different categories, which are Home Depot, Walmart, Canadian Tire, and Dollarama. So let's go back to the main view and let's bring in the main visualization, the stack column chart. I will expand it and I will bring in the date under the x-axis. So as we saw in the data set, we have only the month, so I don't need the whole hierarchy. So I'll minimize it and keep just a month. Then I will bring the expenses under the y-axis and the source under the legend. So here we go. Now it's a simple basic chart that has the default setting of Power BI. We can see that there's definitely room for improvement, starting from the title, the legend, the axis, as well as the colors. So let's jump into it. So I'll just rename this page as expenses, and I will create another copy where we will make the changes and then we will use it to make the comparison. So I rename it expenses, enhance. Here we go. So I will start with the title. So I will center align it and make it a little bit bigger. Under the title, I will change the alignment as well as the size. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There you go. So I can see that in here, I don't really need the level of aggregation, the sum, because I know that it's the sum of the expenses for each month. So I'll just rename it and I will remove sum by month, then make another slight change and by source. And I will also add the plural in here. Here we go. So title looks good. So let's look at the legends now. So the legend is aligned to the top left. I would like to have this on the right. So I'll center right. The legend, here we go. And probably I'll make it a little bit bigger as well, so it's more readable. So something like this. Looks good. Now let's look at the axis. So as we can see here, we have the title, the month. So we know also from the title that this is a breakdown by month. So I can just remove the title in here. So I will add also a little bit of more room here in the visualization. And I can also make the numbers for the months a bit bigger. So I'll go with this or a little bit less. Here we go. Same thing for the y-axis. So y-axis, even in here, I know that these are the expenses from the month. So I can remove, or maybe I can just keep it in here. Yeah, just as a reference. So I'll just leave it in there. But once again, I would like to remove the level of aggregation. So to remove it, I'll just go back in here under y-axis and I will remove it from here. Good. So now I know that we had the expenses and then make it as plural. So this is probably a change that I should have done at the data source level. Anyway, here we go. And one other change is probably to make the dollar amount here in the y-axis the same size as the month in the y-axis. So in the month, we use 12 as size. So I'll do the same for the y-axis. So I'll go with 12. So now they match. And I would probably use a lighter shade of these numbers here because this is not the main focus of the chart. So down here, instead of this gray, I can use a lighter one. And here you go. Now let's look at the colors. So the colors is something pretty important in here because it can reference the different categories or sources in this case. So we can probably use the same colors that each category uses for their logo. So if we're familiar with these categories or businesses, we can easily identify their colors. So let's go under columns and Canadian Tire. So we know the logo is white and red, and I can go with a red in here. I'll probably go with this one. Dollarama, we can go with a green, or actually let's make Canadian Tire a little bit darker, like this. Here we go. Dollarama is green and yellow. Let's go with a green, a dark green. Something like this. Home Depot is orange, so we're pretty close. Maybe a brighter orange. And then obviously, if we have the logo, we can even get the exact RGB code, so we can get the exact color. So I can go with something like this for now. Like this. Yeah, let's assume that this is Home Depot. And then Walmart with a blue. Something like that. Here we go. So now it's a bit easier to identify each color with the different sources. So we can we can see in an easier way that down here at the bottom we have Canadian Tire without referencing other sources necessarily. Then right after this we have Dollarama, then Home Depot, which I should make a little bit more orange, and then Walmart. And one more thing that I would add in here is the data labels. This is probably not something necessary in here, but it's something good to have in particular because we don't have that many categories in here, so it's not going to look too messy. So I can just go down here at data labels and edit. So they look a little bit small. I can probably make them a little bit bigger. So here we go. And that's it. So now we have a different visualization from the one that we had created at the beginning as a default one. And if I go back at the previous source, at the previous tab, we can definitely see the enhancements and how much easier the new chart is to read compared to the original one. So that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it's helpful.